Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be covering my DraftKings Week 5 sleeper pick. So instead of giving out the top high price picks for the week, I'll be giving a few cheaper or projected lower owned guys that I think make good plays in the larger GPPs, such as the Millie Maker. Most of these players will be riskier picks that I wouldn't play in cash games. And also, just a heads up, if you aren't already signed up, I do give out free email picks sent out on Sunday mornings. So if you're not signed up for my email list, just click on that DFS emails link in the description below. Get signed up and check for my email on Sunday mornings. If you don't see it in your inbox, make sure you check your spam. Sometimes it gets sent into there for some reason. Last week, we killed it with the video picks, and I also sent out some good email picks as well. So make sure you get signed up for those. All right, so starting off here, I got my quarterback and wide receiver stack, but this week it's actually going to be a quarterback and pass catcher stack with a tight end. I'll throw in a wide receiver sleeper pick in a bit here. But it's going to be Carson Wentz, 5,800 with Zach Ertz at 6,500. So Wentz is projected to be pretty low owned. Ertz is going to be a little more popular, but still probably not one of the top 2 or 3 tight ends of the week at that higher price tag, 6,500. The Eagles are at home versus the Vikings as 3-point favorites with a total set at 46.5. So you can see there I've got the favorites with a U. That's the Canadian spelling. Try to usually do the US spelling without the U, but ignore that. 3-point favorites with a total set at 46.5. The Vikings defense ranks 25th in DVOA. Defense 29th in DraftKings points against versus quarterbacks and 30th in yards against per pass attempt. So last year, the Vikings were one of the better defenses. This year, they've been struggling so far. I don't see why that would change here against the Eagles. I don't think they're as bad as these stats, but I do think that they're going to struggle a little bit here this year compared to what they were expected to do. Just looks like things aren't the same as last year there in Minnesota, and the Eagles have a pretty good offense here. So at these prices, Wentz at 5,800, I like that quite a bit in this matchup. Ertz at 6,500. Wentz has scored 13 and 24 DraftKings points in his 2 starts, returning from injury. But he looked good last week, even though they lost. He threw for 348 yards and 2 touchdowns. Had about 50 pass attempts, I think. And I think his first week back was about 34, if I can remember correctly. So he's throwing the ball a ton, which is good for fantasy scoring. Ertz continues to see a ton of targets as well, starting off the year with 10, 13, 10, and 14 targets, which is pretty crazy for a tight end. He's topped 20 DraftKings points twice already, and I believe his lowest scoring week was like 9 or 10 points. So he's pretty consistent, which you can see kind of reflects in his price there at 6,500. But I still think he makes a good play at that price. And paired up with Wentz, I think this makes a good quarterback pass catcher stack for week 5 here. All right, so next up here, I got my running back. I'm going with TJ Yeldon at 5,600. His projected ownership between FanShare and Fantasy Labs is somewhere around 10 to 15%. So not a huge sleeper pick, but he's not going to be one of the most popular running backs on the slate. So I really like him at the price. They're in Kansas City as 3-point underdogs this week with a total at 49 points. So one of the higher totals on the board. Fournette has already been ruled out. He played a bit last week. He got 11 rushing attempts before leaving with an injury. And even with those 11 attempts, Yeldon still saw 18 carries and 3 targets. I believe the week before he got something like 7 targets. So he's involved in the passing game quite a bit. And then with Fournette out, he also is getting a majority of the rushing attempts. So I think this is a good spot at 5,600. The Chiefs are 31st in DraftKings points against first running back so far this year. And they're giving up a league high 5.7 yards against per carry. So as long as Yeldon gets the majority of the workload, which I think he should be getting this week, I really like him at 5,600. And then my wide receiver pick for this week is going to be John Brown at 5,600. The Ravens are in Cleveland as half-point favorites with a total set at 45.5 points. So far, John Brown has scored 13 or more DraftKings points in all of his games, with a high of 23.9 DraftKings points last week on just 3 catches. I believe he had about 7 targets in that game. Against the Steelers, went for 116 yards and a touchdown, and also just missed 1 or 2 deep passes as well. So it could have been a monster game. Still had a nice game with 23.9 DraftKings points. He's already scored 3 touchdowns this year, and he has the ability to score a long touchdown. So he's always in play, especially in GPPs. I think he makes a good play this week at that price and projected ownership. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up my video picks. Make sure you're signed up for my email picks that I send out on Sunday morning. Again, it's absolutely free. All you have to do is click on that DFS emails link in the YouTube description below. And if you don't have an account at Fantasy Labs yet, I highly recommend you check them out. They've got a ton of great tools, including their models. You can actually copy over my Sports Geek model right into your own model and use the same model that I'm using each week. Highly recommend you sign up with an account at Fantasy Labs. Just click on that link that says Fantasy Labs in the YouTube description below. Thanks for watching my video this week, guys. If you can do me a huge favor, smash that thumbs up button. It will help out my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on future videos. And good luck this week, guys. Hopefully one of you guys wins that milli. Talk to you guys later.